Hello and good morning. Thank you for joining me today for the Go Travel and Wendy Wu Tours adventure around Japan. So Wendy Wu Tours have worked with Go Travel for a number of years, and my name is Joe Lavers. I'm the Senior Business Development Manager, and we have a great relationship with Go Travel. They're an excellent independent travel agency. And so please, after this presentation, do give any feedback back to your local branch. Hop in and see them, give them a call, get in touch with them, and hopefully we may have you joining us at some point in time in Japan. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Wendy Wu Tours. We are the UK's #1 Asia tour operator for escorted tours. Nobody sends more people to China and Japan from the UK than we do. And we have what we call fully inclusive packages. Now, these are called our classic tours, and this is what the majority of our clients actually travel with us on. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, it means we pretty much include everything. So the price that you will be quoted will include the flights, predominantly 4-star accommodation, but never less than a 3-star plus. Also, all of your guiding, all of your experiences, and nobody includes more immersive experiences than we do. All of your entrance fees, taxes, absolutely everything, and all of your meals with a big Western style buffet breakfast in the morning in your hotels. And then we take you to local restaurants and in fantastic places throughout the course of the tour for your lunches and dinners, where it will be local food. We can cater for all dietary requirements because you have a tour guide who is with you from start to finish. We do introduce you to other local guides for their local expertise. You have one person who is with you right the way through, our national tour guide. And of course, they speak the local language. So if there is anything that you have with any issues, they are there to help you. If a visa is required on any of our tours, that is also included in the price, but you don't need one for Japan. We've won a huge amount of awards, a lot from within the travel industry, but also from renowned publications such as The Times, Condé Nast Traveller, the Silver Traveller. So quite a few awards. We've got 5-star TripAdvisor ratings, gold trusted service on FIFO, over 20 years experience, and we really do have the best guides in the business. So these are our current brochures. And of course, today I'm going to be talking to you about our brand new Japan brochure. And the people listening to this webinar, you are the very, very first to hear about this because we don't actually launch it until next Monday, the 17th of August. So if there are any tours on here that are the new tours, please wait until the 17th of August before getting in touch for a quote. But if it's some of our traditional tours we've operated for some time, you can get the quotes for those now. So I'm just going to very briefly cover the seasons with regards to visiting Japan. Of course, a lot of people want to go for cherry blossom. I'm going to tell you about some exciting cherry blossom offers we've got at the end of the presentation, which is at the end of March, beginning of April. May is a fantastic time, so all across the whole of spring. And in May, you have the Shizabukuru Festival in the foothills of Mount Fuji, which is this pink box floss which comes out along the ground. So it's almost like cherry blossom on the floor. Autumn is amazing with the autumnal colours, so fantastic time to visit. And also you can go in the winter as well. We have a few selected tours, particularly if you want to go up to, say, the Ice Festival up in Sapporo, for example. So this is the brand new brochure, and as I said, it will be out on the 17th of August. We've got lots more enhanced experiences. As I said earlier, nobody includes more experiences in the price than Wendy Wu Tours, but it's also the quality of those. We've got 2 brand new group tours, and for any solo travelers listening, we've got dedicated departures with a lot more choice and extra benefits as well. So about these special cultural encounters that we have on a Wendy Wu tour, just going to talk through a few of those that you can do on some of our Japan tours. Now, on all of our Japan tours, we do include a tea ceremony. Now, this is a really fantastic experience where a geisha will go through some of the elements of a traditional tea ceremony. Now, tea ceremonies can last up to 4 hours, so we don't do that, but you will see how they prepare and the performance that is involved in the way of tea. And for some of you that want to get off the beaten track, we do have our Go Beyond tours. We have two for Japan. One of them is called Offbeat Japan, and on that particular tour, you can actually do a hike through the base of Mount Fuji. On all of our other escorted tours, we do take you up by coach to the 5th station for some magnificent views, and also across Lake Ashi, so that you can go up the Hakone Skyway, which is the cable car, to get a fantastic view across. But on the Offbeat Japan, then you've got a fantastic hike through the base of Mount Fuji. We've got a monastery stay in Koyasan, and here you can actually hear and join the monks for their daily dawn chanting. Again, that's in the Offbeat Japan. And then we have washi paper making, for example, making Japanese paper in the age-old way. You can do that on a couple of our tours, our Discover Japan and our most popular tour, Japan Uncovered, which I'm going to go through in a bit more depth in a moment. You can also get involved in a noodle making craft and learn how to roll and slice the soba noodle dough before cooking it. And if you go in May or September, then you can actually, on our Japan Uncovered and our Offbeat Japan, enjoy a sumo wrestling festival, which really is a spectacle to behold. And at the other scale of that, maybe you're into a little bit more of Zen meditation and getting to know your inner peace, learning the basics of Zen meditation. And we do this in Kyoto, and you can enjoy this experience on our brand new tour, Japan by Rail, a game which I'll tell you a little bit more about as we go through. Now, for solo travelers, we now have a range of dedicated solo traveler departures. Solo travelers can travel with us at any point in time on our standard classic tours, but if they would prefer to be with just other solo travelers, then we have some dedicated departures on a number of tours. They'll get a pre and post service call, VIP private transfers to and from the airport, a free airport lounge, their own room with no sharing, so no single supplement, a welcome drinks reception, all meals included, of course. And we're also going to create a specific solo online community for our solo travelers as well. Now, the tours that are included, we have a range of departure dates for a week in Japan, which is actually an 8-day tour, as you can see there. Our 11-day Jewels of Japan. Our Discover Japan, which is a 13-day tour. And then our most popular tour that we feature, our Japan Uncovered tour. Now, before I tell you a little bit more about the Japan Uncovered tour, I'm just going to give you a few facts about Japan itself. It is actually made up of over 6,800 islands. However, 97% of the total land area is made up by the 4 biggest islands, of which 3 we visit, the main one being Honshu, then Hokkaido up in the north, and Kyushu down in the south. Japan has got the 3rd largest economy in the world, and they eat more seafood than anywhere else in the world as well. And they have a population of 126 million people. Now, on the main island, as you can see in the small map there, that's the main island of Honshu, which is where the majority of sites a lot of people want to see are. And Japan Uncovered is our most popular tour. It was new for us in 2019, and we just wanted to see how it would actually take with our customers. So we've just put 2 departure dates on. They sold out very quickly. We ended up putting on more. We ended up putting more. We ended up selling 25 dates for 2020, and we've got 28 in place for 2021. So it is our most extensive tour, includes all the classic sites, key cultural activities, and I'm just going to walk you through a few of these. So we will visit Osaka Castle, and this is where we will start the tour. It is one of Japan's most famous castles, and it's also known as the White Crane. So it's a fantastic symbol of Osaka in the Kansai region of central Japan. It played a really important role in the unification of Japan during the samurai era of the 16th century. And Osaka itself is known for having some of the best food in all Japan. It's especially famous for their giant savory cabbage pancakes. And they also have street food classics as well, which is like a pancake batter cooked in special molds, typically filled with pickled ginger, spring onion, and maybe some octopus as well. We'll also visit Nara, and from here we'll stroll through the famous deer park, where the deer were actually thought of as sacred animals, and they've been carefully protected for many years. And they're still protected today as natural monuments, and they were considered to be a sacred messenger animal of the gods. And if you, right up until 1637, if you killed a deer, it was actually punishable by death. Obviously, it's now, and the deer will actually come up to you and they'll bow in front of you. They're very used to humans. And we'll visit Himeji Castle as well, which is known as the White Heron Castle, as it resembles the bird. And Himeji Castle is very interesting because it's never been destroyed at all by war, earthquake, or fire, or any other natural disasters. So it is generally considered to be the most magnificent castle because of its size and its beauty and how well preserved it is. And it is a national and World Heritage listed treasure. And then from there, we make our way through to Hiroshima. Of course, Hiroshima is now a very modern city, having had to be rebuilt. Of course, it's famous for being largely destroyed during World War II on the 6th of August 1945, when the American B-29 bomber, dubbed Enola Gay, dropped the first atomic bomb launched in warfare on the city. Immediately, it killed over 80,000 people, with tens of thousands would die later from radiation exposure. The city's been completely rebuilt and has created a melting pot and is an extremely cosmopolitan city. And you'll be able to see sites of historical heritage that were destroyed by the atomic bomb that have been reconstructed. However, the only building that remained is the A-Dome, as you can see it on the screen here. And this is where you'll visit the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park as well, which commemorates this terrible event. And it is a very, very moving and wonderful experience. We then come on to Mirajima, Shrine Island as it's known. And this is also listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and as one of the national treasures by the Japanese government. And it's well known for these giant torii gates, which at high tide, they seem to float on the water. You do get to travel on bullet train on this particular tour, Japan Uncovered, and they're fantastic, the bullet trains. We take it from Hiroshima to Kyoto. The journey takes about an hour and 40 minutes, and the maximum operating speed with passengers on board is 200 miles per hour. However, test runs have actually reached 275, and they are now in the process of building maglev trains, which levitate by magnets above the track, so there's no friction. And they expect to have a fully operational across the country by 2030. And they will actually travel at something like 350 to 375 miles per hour. What we also do, because we take care of everything, when you go on the bullet trains, you're not taking your large luggage. We put that in the coach. That will arrive at your next destination, and you'll just take some hand luggage or an overnight bag type of thing, for example, on the train, because we can't hold up the Japanese train system. They do always depart on time. They are so clean, like everywhere in Japan is, so efficient, absolutely amazing way to travel. I can't recommend traveling by train enough in Japan. Then we arrive in Kyoto, and this was the ancient capital for thousands of years, and was the emperor's residence from 794 up to 1868. And it really is the epitome of traditional Japan. I absolutely loved my time in Kyoto. I found it fascinating, and it really is the best place to experience the temples, the shrines, the gardens. This is where the geishas are trained, so you can see them wandering the streets in their traditional dresses. It was believed at one point there were up to 80,000 geishas across Japan. That was around 1920. Now there's only about 100 in Kyoto and maybe only 1,000 across the whole of the country. We will visit the most visited temple in Kyoto, built in honor of Kannon, the goddess of mercy, in its beautiful hillside location. And we will also have here our tea ceremony by a tea master. So we'll enjoy that way of tea that I was talking about earlier on. And then we'll visit Fushima Inari Shrine, the 10,000 torii gates that have been built. It's been sort of translated into the god of business, with each individual torii gate is actually donated by local businesses. And then we come to the Golden Pavilion. This is a Buddhist temple, and it's a fantastic example of Japanese garden design as well. And I really, really, really enjoyed my time around here. I'm not personally particularly into gardens. I don't know what I'm looking at with regards to certain flowers and trees, but it was absolutely stunning. The top two layers of this building are actually made out of solid gold leaf. So it really is a fantastic place to wander around, spend some time, and feel a little bit zen. And you do get these fantastic tranquility moments in Japan. It is an amazing place to visit. And then we leave Kyoto and we travel to Kanazawa. And we'll go through 3 great gardens of Japan, and also to the outer garden of Kanazawa Castle, which was opened to the public in 1871. There's lots of flowering trees there, and it's got a very different look for each passing season. Sorry, excuse me. It is often compared to Kyoto, but it is significantly smaller than the ancient capital, and is also renowned for its impeccable geisha and samurai districts as well. So a great place to learn about the samurai warriors. And then Takayama, where we'll visit another UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's known for its unusual architectural style, which is known as gasho. And this means constructed like hands of prayer. So as you can see, these sloped, almost alpine-looking buildings. And the roofs are made without nails, and they provide a large attic space, which they use actually for cultivating silkworms. And it nestles itself deep within the stunning Hilda Mountains. So it's a great destination for witnessing the older and ancient side of Japan as well. And then traveling up to Yudanaka, we get to see the snow monkeys, obviously known as the snow monkeys, but they're actually the Japanese macaques who spend their time in these hot springs. Just having a wonderful time. So they're great to watch about their daily business, and also interesting, there's no other non-human primate in northern living that lives in a colder climate than the Japanese macaques. And for us humans, we also get the opportunity to bathe in some hot springs with a Japanese onsen, and we will do this in Yudanaka. And we'll obviously there won't be any pesky snow monkeys in there interrupting our peace. But it's a hot spring, and it also extends to cover the bathing facilities and the traditional inns frequently situated around a hot spring. Traditionally, though, just to mention, visitors with tattoos aren't allowed in Japan's onsen because of an age-old association with organised crime and the gangs. So that's just so that you're aware of that, but everything you need to know is always provided in your dossier that we send to you from Wendy Wu Tours before you travel. And Mount Fuji, a real icon of Japan. It is the highest of Japan's mountains and a real iconic symbol of the country. We'll make our way up to Fuji's 5th out of the 10 stations, so you get fantastic views around the area there. And then we'll also visit Fuji 5 lakes in the Hakone district, as I mentioned earlier, where we get to sail across Lake Ashi on a little cruise, and then we go up the cable car, the Hakone ropeway, for views across to Mount Fuji, where you get these amazing, fantastic views, as you can see in this image in front of you. And then it's on to the madness of Tokyo. But it is a real city of contrasts, with ancient areas and traditional areas, and then the modern Tokyo that we all see in the films and the documentaries. So obviously on the modern side, one of the most famous areas is the Shibuya district. There's lots of madness, lots of people, in Tokyo. Cat cafes, robot cafes, hedgehog cafes, just to mention a few. So absolutely crazy. It's got its high-tech facades, but there are lots of back streets as well and old temples to explore. Tokyo is also famous for its vending machines, so much so, I mean, they are absolutely everywhere. There's one for every 23 people. And if you actually lined them up, they would stretch all the way from Tokyo to Hawaii, apparently. On the more sort of ancient side, away from Shiburu, you have the Asakusa district. And here you can soak up the ambience of Sensoji, which is Tokyo's oldest temple. And it's the only example of two religions sharing the same temple complex, where you have a Buddhist temple on the right of this picture and a Shinto shrine on the left. And then back to a little bit more of the modern Tokyo, with the time to experience the 634-meter high Sky Tree, which is the tallest structure in Japan. It's actually the tallest tower in the world. And you get amazing views from up here. It's predominantly now a television and radio broadcast tower, and it was actually constructed to withstand any earthquake. But you do get some amazing views from up the top of this tower. That concludes our Japan Uncovered, which has to date been our most popular tour. And now I'm just going to briefly tell you about our two new group tours. The first being Experience Japan. Now, this is an amazing tour. It's 11 days, as you can see, and you're traveling from Osaka down in the south of the main island of Honshu, up through Kyoto, get to see the snow monkeys, Fuji, as well as Kamakura as well, and lots of experiences, including the tea ceremony, origami making, fan painting, miso and sake tasting, really, really in-depth experiences and getting to see some of these amazing top sites. So some of the things on this tour, you will also discover Nara, you'll visit Matsumoto and Osaka castles, you'll go through the fantastic bamboo forest that you can see this image here. I said already, meeting the snow monkeys, see Kamakura's Grand Buddha, and of course get to see Mount Fuji, which you do on all of our Japan tours. And some of those experiences that we include. So this is just a highlight of a few of them. So we will go to a historic Kyoto fan house, so you can try that ancient art of Japanese fan painting. And these classes and things that we do, they really are great experiences. I did a calligraphy class while I was over there, and it really bonds the group together. They're great fun. And then you've got these amazing souvenirs to take home with you. We'll also take you through the fantastic vast torii gates up to the amazing Hachimangu Shrine, which is a fantastic structure, and it's dedicated to the god of the samurai in the heart of Kamakura. And then also, of course, Tokyo. And we'll learn what shaped the most impressive city. You'll get a glimpse of what life was like through the ages, and we'll take you to the Tokyo Edo Museum to be able to understand the background and history of this amazing city. Here are just some of the sites that I've just mentioned. Then we have Japan by rail. So again, Japan by rail, this is an amazing, amazing tour, 21 days, brand new, and you really are getting to do a lot on this tour. And it's taking you from the southern island of Kyushu there, where you will actually fly into. You'll visit Nagasaki and Fukuoka, and then you'll travel up through the main island up to Hokkaido in the north there, as you can see when you come out of Sapporo. So it's a 21-day classic tour, so everything included, and you will actually travel 2,000 kilometers across this whole fantastic tour, taking 10 train journeys, 5 of which will be bullet trains. So an amazing way to travel. Again, this is just some of the highlights that you'll be able to do and to see. Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Kyoto, the snow monkeys, Tokyo, also Sendai and Hakodate, and also spending some time in Sapporo up in the Northern Island. And again, some more fantastic experiences. So Momiji Manju, which is the maple leaf bean buns. So this is a real famous confectionery made for over hundreds of years. So under the guidance of an instructor, you'll try your hand at making those, but also you'll learn about the role of the Masu sake cup. And these are the small wooden cups, and you'll be able to make your own cup with your own original design, again, which you can take home as a souvenir. And of course, you'll also discover the history and etiquette of making and appreciating sushi with a fantastic hands-on lesson with your instructing chef, and then enjoy some of that fantastic cuisine. And it really is the taking part in these that counts. They really are fantastic experiences, over and above seeing all of the sites and everything else you will do on a Wendy Wu tour. So just a couple of other tours. Now, these aren't new, but they do cover other areas. We have our Japan and the Scenic South tour. As you can see, this is a 13-day tour and really covers the sort of lesser known island of Kyushu down in the south, which is really known for its active volcanoes, its hot springs, stunning beaches, and also seeing some of those other must-see sites on the larger island of Honshu. So the areas that you'll cover here, so Fukuoka, which sits on the northern shore of Japan's Kyushu Island and is the island's largest city. It's known for its ancient temples, its beaches, and also modern shopping centres. It's actually, oddly enough, closer to Seoul in South Korea than it is to Tokyo. But it has been a very important harbour city for many, many centuries. And then Kumamoto, which is the city on Kyushu's west coast and is most famous for its castles, and it's also the gateway to the Aso region. And the castle there is actually considered to be one of the 3 premier castles in Japan, along with Himeji Castle and Matsumoto Castle as well. And then you get to Mount Aso and the Beppu Hot Springs. So Aso is an active volcano right in the center of the Kyushu Island, and the crater, sorry about that aircraft flying above, the crater has a circumference of over 100 kilometers and also encompasses a number of other active peaks as well. And Beppu is one of Japan's most famous hot spring resorts, and you can also experience the hells of Beppu, which are these spectacular hot springs, but they're just for viewing rather than bathing in. We then have our journey through Japan, where you start right up you see all the must-see sites of Honshu, a day trip out to Nikko, and various different landscapes, and also, of course, Sapporo right up in the north on the Hokkaido island. So Sapporo is actually the capital of Hokkaido. It's Japan's northernmost island, and it's really known as a winter wonderland, and it was introduced to the world during the Winter Olympics in 1972. It is one of the nation's youngest major cities, and it's also famous for its Snow Festival, which is held there annually in February. And then Otaru, which is a small harbour city northwest of Sapporo with its fantastically beautiful preserved canals, and they really give the city centre a distinctive character, really reminiscent of past decades. And then on to Hell Valley, which is the volcanic crater, where you'll see steam jets and hot springs, and then taking a train to the harbour city of Hakodate, where you'll see mighty mountain there, Hakodate, and you can ascend the tower for views of the famous fort there as well. And should you wish to combine 2 different countries, then we have a very popular tour, our Ancient Empires of China and Japan, which is a very, very popular tour, and takes in the main sites in China of Beijing, Xi'an for the terracotta warriors, the ruralness of Guilin with a cruise down the Lai River and the cormorant fishermen, and Yangzhou, a farming community, then the fabulous Shanghai, which is an amazing city, before then touring around Japan. So I did mention our 2 Go Beyond tours we have to Japan. We have Sapporo and the Snow Monkeys at 12 days. And we have our Offbeat Japan at 13 days as well. Now, these really get off the beaten track, much smaller group sizes of just 18 maximum. On our major tours, it's up to 28, but generally 24. And you just get a little bit of a deeper understanding, and maybe some more physical activities on the Go Beyond tours, such as hiking parts of Mount Fuji, as an example. It's our guides that really, really do make the major difference. We do have the best guides in the business. We train them incredibly well Wendy has a particular view of how she wants our guides to act and interact. And because you have a national guide, a local guide from start to finish, you really do have somebody who you can talk to throughout the tour, knowing more if you wish to, or just asking for simple recommendations of where to go for a drink or what to do possibly in the evening after your meal. So absolutely full of wonderful knowledge. And finally, our offers. All of these available through Go Travel. So if you book in August, we have £99 per person deposits, and the balance is not due until 6 weeks before departure. And should you need to change the date of departure anytime between paying that deposit and when the balance is due, then we will do that for free, as long as the airline permits us to be able to do so. For all of our single travellers listening, we have no single supplement on all our Japan tours travelling in 2021, as long as it's booked in August. So there's some big savings to be had there. And of course, you can book onto the single departures as well. But if you don't want to, because the dates don't work for you or that tour doesn't work for you, then all of our other tours you can book with no single supplement. We have a free one-way business class upgrade offer. Again, need to book in August. And that is on your return flight back into the UK. You will travel back via business class, and that is valid for departures up till June 2021, so from January to June 2021. It doesn't cover cherry blossom time though, however, but our next offer does, which is the free British Airways return premium economy upgrade. Now that's a fantastic offer, and that is also available across the cherry blossom season. And we've also discounted some of our tours that travel from that last couple of weeks in March, first few weeks in April for cherry blossom, where you can save up to £500 per person. So I can honestly say this has never been a better time to book a Wendy Wu tour and go to Japan with the launch of this brand new brochure, which I'm incredibly excited about. So please do go back to Go Travel. Thank you very, very much for listening. All that remains for me to do is say thank you. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. Any feedback, always greatly appreciated. And thank you very much.